Hello and welcome back to the cottage garden. What I thought we would do today is I might just take you for a bit of a wander around the back garden here and just kind of show you where I'm at with everything since I've returned from holidays. There's a few new plants, a lot of stuff has been cut back, and we're kind of just getting ready now for the upcoming growing season. So yeah, I just thought we'd have a bit of a wander. I'd share all of the fun, exciting updates with you. And then we have a bit of a chat, kind of go through where I'm at, what my plans are going forward, and just sort of share with you some of the projects that I've got coming up in the hope that, I don't know, you might want to share them with me and might want to kind of follow along, or we can kind of almost do them at the same time and then compare notes, I think. See how it goes in your garden or in your windowsill or balcony with how I'm going here. So yes, we've got a bit of an odd sort of a day today. It's sort of cloudy and then sunny and then cloudy. So it's just not making up its mind at all, and it is quite windy, so I do apologise if you're getting a fair amount of wind sort of sound over the camera. I am sort of trying to protect where the microphone is as much as possible. But I thought we would start here in the garden and just sort of show you how the trees are sort of faring. You can already see, if I come up over here, on this one here, like, look at all this beautiful brand new growth. Can you see that there? Like all this new light green, oh, very, very soft leaves, but all this light green leaves here, that is all new growth coming through after they're sort of really hard cut back. And you can even see on here, this is all new growth here on this branch. So we definitely have some movement, which I'm very excited about. I think I mentioned to you in the last video that the jasmine needed quite a significant prune back. It had kind of sustained a little bit of damage when the trees were getting removed. So this is the jasmine here. If you've been sort of following along with my garden videos for a while, you'll sort of know that I used to have another arch here, and this whole section here was like a big wall of jasmine, but you can see it here after a very, very hard prune back. And similar again, all this new growth, like look at that, all brand new. So very, very happy after its hard prune. These two here are rambling roses, or sort of, I suppose, not climbing roses, what am I looking for? Ground cover roses. We actually planted these together towards the end of last year. So one, I think, is sort of, I think one was an apricot colour, I cannot remember the name of it, and one is definitely a popcorn ground cover rose in colour. But they're both doing so well. Look at all of the new little leaves coming out. They have just grown so much. Like, look at all this new growth here. They're looking incredible. This rose here, I'll just change my position so you can kind of see a bit better. So this rose here, you'll know, was actually quite a significant size, and it is actually like a tricolour, multicolored rose. So each flower is sort of a combination of like red, pink and yellow. It is absolutely stunning, the colour. I just love it. Love it so much, and I've never seen them again. But it kind of went through, I've done, like, there's been a really big hard cutback obviously, but already you can see here all the new growth, and you can see just down here we've got a little bud sort of starting. So again, everything is just looking so good after like such a hard prune. So hopefully in the next sort of, I'd sort of say maybe in the next month or so, everything should be back all beautiful and lush and flowering. This always just looks sensational. And like, look these. Can you see this? This has self-seeded. It is these here. So these two, and I think this one here are all self-seeded. I'm pretty sure that is the one that I planted originally, but then they've just sort of popped up all over the garden. They're beautiful plants. The variation in the color is incredible. And you can kind of see, I cannot remember the name of them off the top of my head. I will pop the name on screen for you, but look at that color. The greens and the white, the pink, they're so pretty and very ornamental. They don't flower or anything like that, but they just add a really beautiful pop of color sort of all year round. They're evergreen, and as I said, those little sort of flashes of pinks and white and that all year. So, you know, when the rest of the garden is kind of settled down and sleeping, and I'm maybe not getting as many, you know, blooms throughout the garden and that, these always just look marvelous. Very, very happy with them, and very happy that they are so happy that they are self-seeding. This is all looking really good. I sort of did quite a hard prune in here, and that's sort of bounced back well. The pines are doing just sensational. I love this when the pathways are here and then the plants sort of, you know, spill out onto the pathways and kind of just soften that walk. It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I'll take you up there in a moment. I did just want to show you this angle very quickly. Look at the crepe myrtles. Are they not absolutely marvelous? At this time of year, this red, we actually had a storm 2 days ago, so some of the petals have actually come off this one a little bit, but the red of this is so vibrant this year, it's crazy. And then the white is just look at that display. Is that not just incredible? Gosh, it's just absolutely stunning. Both of them are just really putting on a show at this time of year when they're in full bloom, those gorgeous big pom-pom flowers. I will take you over there as we work our way around so you can kind of see the flowers up close, but it's just looking spectacular. Absolutely love it. And then just kind of coming over here around where the beehive is. Whoops, camera is zoomed in a bit there. That's better. This is just all looking beautiful. These are all self-seeded. The coleus is just stunning at this time of year. Really full, and again, those sort of pops of like pink and that color. Pine is looking incredible. The water fountain here is actually just stopped. You probably would have heard it a little bit earlier. The sun has just gone behind a series of clouds, and it is a solar powered water feature. So it just turns on and off automatically. I didn't need to get any sort of plumbing or electrical or anything like that to set it up. They are so easy to set up. And I have actually filmed a video where I set this particular one up with you. We sort of unbox it, set it all up, put it in situ, and then start it all up. So I will link that video down in the description box if you're interested in watching that. I have 3 of these water features throughout the garden, and they're just beautiful. This particular company does do other sort of designs, but this particular one is just, it's the one that I like. You know, depending on your space and, you know, the room you have and the style of your garden, I'm sure there is something there if you're interested in adding a water element to your garden. These are an incredible sort of easy hack, I think, to add. If you're somewhere that doesn't get a lot of sun, so if you're in sort of locations in the UK or in Canada and that, and you're kind of not getting those long days of full sun, a solar powered water feature is probably not going to help you out too much. So you might need to look into getting something that is sort of plumbed in, or have like your electrics and things like that. But if you are like me and you're somewhere that gets a fair amount of sun all year round, these are so easy. They're just incredible. As I said, I'll link the video down below where I unboxed that one and we set it all up together. Very, very easy to set up. Starting to flower. The butterfly bush back here is flowering. Hawaiian blue eyes is doing really well. And then if we just sort of head on up here, gosh, we've just been so lucky with the weather lately. We've had that really good combination of like rain and sun that the garden just loves. And even with this, just to show you very quickly, even with this tree here that we did the hard prune on, you can already see all the new shoots here, and like up here, like look at all of these new little fellas. So it will be no time at all before it's, I'm sure, fully bushed back out. But everything up here is just looking beautiful. Umbrella plant is looking great. I am still considering, I think at the end of last year we were sort of talking about potentially putting a bench seat in here. I am still considering that. It gives you a really different perspective of the garden, and normally where I'm standing now is actually all quite shaded with the trees, and that will happen again once they all kind of bush back out. But it does give you a very, very different sort of view and a different angle of the garden than what I would kind of normally get. So I think having like a little seat or little bench seat somewhere up here to sort of sit and have your cup of tea or, you know, coffee or whatever would just be really lovely. And a nice little rest stop, particularly at the moment in winter. You'd be able to get the sun, but then once this area bushes back over again and it's shaded, it'd just be a nice little spot to sit when it is a bit warmer and you're trying to get a little bit of shade. So definitely something to consider. So just to give you a little idea, this is kind of the angle you would get from that seat. Really pretty. And then if I just head back down the little pathway, goodness, look at these. So this is the ginger and turmeric, which again we did replant together a few months ago now. That was probably maybe around August last year. We replanted ginger and turmeric rhizomes, but they are just, look at the growth on those. They will be ready for us to harvest in sort of June, July this year. All of this growth will die back, and then we'll sort of be able to see the soil, and kind of once all this growth dries back, that's sort of my cue that they need to be harvested. I'll do that with you anyway, kind of so you can see what they look like. They're, for me, in my climate, so I'm in a subtropical climate zone. For me, the ginger and turmeric, unbelievably easy to grow. I basically just put them, pop the rhizomes back into these two. They're actually in, I don't know if you can see it there, they're actually in pots, like barrel pots. I just pop the rhizomes into the barrel pots and that's it. I don't really do anything else with them. They like this position, they get a good amount of sun, and they also get watered via the irrigation system. So I literally do nothing else with them. I just pot them and then forget them pretty much for a year. And then at the end of that year time, so in June, July, I get a really incredible harvest of ginger and turmeric, which I kind of cut up, and then I freeze it so that I can use it in recipes, use it in smoothies, drinks, that kind of thing, for many, many months to come. But yeah, they're looking incredible. Everything is just looking so gorgeous. And then just coming through this section here, again, as I said, completely self-planted, self-seeded, and just loving life in that position. This is all looking really well. Now, the biggest change you will note from my previous videos is the citrus trees. So they got quite a significant prune back. You would know from those clips that I showed you of the citrus a few weeks ago, they really needed it. The spring for me, I'm in the southern hemisphere, so spring for me is still a little while off, and they haven't had this level of a prune back in quite a while, and I just think they just needed that airflow and all of that. There are, you can kind of see on here now, there are still lemons. I've got a few of the navel oranges. So I think that they will really appreciate the hard prune. And I think that they'll come back so much stronger in spring and kind of bush back out and then flower, hopefully, really strongly. So one of my big projects is going to be to kind of keep up the fertilizing to the citrus tree, just trying to make sure they grow back super healthy and that they're really fruitful sort of throughout the sort of spring, summer, and that next winter we're getting a really good crop of citrus. But yeah, so that's looking really good. And they're just looking really healthy. And then continuing around, you can see the rose over there. I'm still getting some flowers on that rose. I definitely need to get in here and fertilize the roses. Definitely on my list of to do. The peach tree is looking really great. It's getting a lot more sun now as well with the lemon tree and the navel oranges being cut back. So I'm sure it is very, very happy with that. I still have not gotten around to getting a new garden arch. I have actually been thinking about one, and I have seen one online that I'm quite interested in. It's a wooden garden arch and it looks beautiful. So I'm thinking I might save up and get that and maybe make that a little bit of a project. So once that happens, I will share that with you and we'll definitely do it together. But as you can see, this has just, we call it like a flame vine. I'll put the correct name on screen here, but it's just loving life there, and it's very, very keen to climb and attach to something. So I definitely will need to make getting a garden arch a bit of a priority. Oh, I've just noticed that we're getting all little buds here on the rose. Oh, look at them all at the back here. Beautiful. And then some stunning new plants are these panthers. Look at this one. It's a I've never seen them before like this, a tricolored. So you'll know I've got the white, I've got one that's completely white and I've got one that is completely pink like this. But I've never seen a tricolored one with like the red, the white and the pink, and I mean even this one with the dual colors. It's stunning. I mean, you'll see when I walk around to the other side, these panthers bushes grow quite well. They're quite a vigorous grower. They take a lot. They're very hardy in that, so they'll definitely fill this space well. But I'm just really happy with those colors. That's just, I've never seen that before. I think that's absolutely incredible. That dual tone, the dual colors in there. We've got some ferns here that are self-seeding, but again, letting them do their thing if they're happy there. And then the little vegetable garden. Oh, it always makes me so sad at this time of year. It's definitely at the end. I'm so impressed with how long a lot of these things lasted. I was getting tomatoes up until probably, 2 weeks ago. Cucumbers, I literally harvested my last 2 cucumbers about 2 weeks ago. And it's just, the bushes just come to the end, the natural end of its life cycle. So I definitely need to get in here now, do a massive cleanup. I hope you can hear me with the wind. I'm not sure how that's coming across on camera. Definitely need to get in here, do a massive clean up of the vegetable garden, and then get really sort of stuck into preparing the beds for the next growing season. I've got the next growing season for me starts in March, so I've still got a few weeks to go, which kind of brings me to my next little thought that I've been having. There's always so much that happens in the growing season, and I've got several really sort of fun projects that I'm really excited to get into this growing season. Some things that I really want to trial that I've never grown before and I've never done before. And I kind of want to share those things with you and kind of bring you along and hope that, you know, you enjoy watching those sorts of, you know, my trials and tribulations of, you know, my gardening and that. I'm very much learning in the gardening sort of sphere. So the projects that I've kind of got in mind will definitely be new things for me, but I think that they'll be just a lot of fun, and I'm really keen to sort of see how everything goes and how it all works. And so I was debating about, because there's going to be so much content and I didn't want, you know, videos to go for an hour and a half or anything like that. I'm very conscious that you know, you all choose to spend your time with me, and I'm very, very appreciative of that. So I don't want to, you know, do hour and a half long videos. So I actually wondered about maybe doing 2 videos a week and maybe making them a little bit shorter. So maybe doing like 2 half-hour videos each week, particularly through the growing season, and then kind of having one video being a bit more of like a really garden focused one, like the garden project that I'm doing that week, or, you know, what I'm fertilizing or harvesting and things like that, like kind of having it be really garden focused. And then the other video maybe sort of having a little bit of everything. Like the other video might be more of like a day in the life kind of thing. So there'll definitely be gardening, you know, harvesting and things, but it might also be, you know, homemaking and, you know, redecorating and, you know, book recommendations and that kind of thing. So anyway, I'm just toying with that idea. So if that is something that you would like, is 2 videos a week, and you would like to share your thoughts on that, please leave comments down below and I will read them. But yes, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Maybe from March, I'll try and do 2 videos a week and kind of just see how I go, see how I kind of go with the volume of content and things like that. I don't want to, but I know for myself, I find watching other people's garden videos really inspiring and I get lots of ideas from that. So hopefully my videos will do the same for you. So yes, if you are not subscribed to my channel and you think that you would love that kind of content, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed. As I say, it's just a really good way for me to sort of know that you're interested in my content, that you're keen for me to continue filming content. It's free for you to subscribe, all that kind of jazz. It just really helps me out. So yeah, if you could subscribe, that would be amazing. But look at these straw flowers. They're just beautiful. Goodness me. I'll take you over there in a moment. But what I did want to quickly show you was the crepe myrtle flowers. Look how gorgeous these are. They're just stunning. Look how big they are. They're huge. These massive, big, just happy pom-pom blooms are just, and the bees love them. Just, yeah, crazy. So many bees. Sometimes you just walk through here and the whole thing is just like a humming with the amount of bees that are there. So happy that, you know, I got this one planted. It suits this bed so well. But yeah, they're just huge. I'll take you over to the red one in a moment. But I kind of thought we would just finish off around this angle. Sorry about the mess. I'm in the middle of gardening. I've actually got Mum here today, and she's in the garden with me. But how pretty are these straw flowers? Gorgeous colours. So you probably see, and one of my next videos is definitely going to be me getting stuck into this vegetable bed here and just doing a really hard sort of tidy up, and then we'll start to get these beds ready for the growing season, which I'm so excited about. I've got plans. I've got plans, let me tell you. So I'm very, very excited. And you can see here, like, this is just pretty much done now. It did so well. I got so many cucumbers from that. Crazy. But it's just, yeah, it's sort of just getting a bit quiet here now. I've still got leeks that I'm harvesting, and I've still got spring onions. But yeah, pretty much end of season, end of it all now. We'll do a good cleanup, get everything ready and all situated for the next growing season. Very, very exciting. I just wanted to very, very quickly interrupt the garden tour and add these clips in. I was just speaking to you about subscribing to my channel, and it reminded me that my mum and I were talking about YouTube the other day, and she watches YouTube and she watches other YouTubers, and she was sort of saying to me, and she watches them, so this is my TV. She's like, I watch my YouTubers on a TV. And, you know, I'd like to subscribe to their channels to make it easier for me to find them on YouTube. And so I get advised when new videos go live and things like that. And she was sort of saying to me, how do I do that on my TV? And it made me think that maybe not everyone knows how to subscribe to a YouTuber's channel on a TV. So very, very quickly, I just wanted to show you. So this is actually a video of mine. But if you're watching one of the YouTubers that you enjoy and you're watching one of their videos, as the video is playing, if you use your remote and you kind of just bring up your menu here, you can see that you have, like, see here, you've got subscribe, and then I'm just going over, and then that's channel. So at the moment, this is my video, so I've subscribed. So if I was unsubscribed, I can choose the different notifications. I can unsubscribe, or you can subscribe. So you can kind of see, you can go to my channel, captions, and then you can like, there's like comments, all that kind of thing. You can save videos. But yeah, so if you just kind of go, when you're watching a YouTuber that you enjoy, if you just kind of bring up this menu where you can kind of fast forward or rewind, you can just sort of subscribe here, and you can, you know, select notifications and all that kind of thing. So I just wanted to really quickly interject this here in the event that you weren't sure how to subscribe, and in the event that it is helpful. Anyway, back to the garden tour. I just wanted to give you a quick little look at the crepe myrtle from this angle. Look at those blooms. I just think it's just, yeah, magical. It's like snow. It's like little snowballs on the end of the plant. But, oh, she's absolutely stunning this time of year. And they're actually quite a long living flower. So she'll be in bloom like this for several months, which is just delightful. To sort of have this in your yard is just, yeah, makes me very, very happy. So we shall continue on. Everything in this little shade area is looking really good. Still getting some flowers from these agapanthus. Very, very happy with that. Got another jewel coloured panthus in here that's just gone in. I forget what was there now. The plant that was there basically had reached its natural end. So we removed that one and, yeah, popped this one in. I'm very excited to have that get nice and big and bushy. I'm just doing this mess here, just doing a really hard sort of cut back of what I affectionately call the foxtail. Again, I will put the correct names on screen. Look at these. Isn't that just... And they're like... I can give you, I don't know if it'll let me, like, look at them, and like all the little petals are like ruffled as well. Gosh. Like, just to show you. And then just heading through, the lace hydrangea is doing really well. Very, very excited for that to bloom again. And the winner of my garden, I feel, at the moment, is this fella. He's just doing the most. This is the snack capsicum bush. I don't know if we planted this one together or if we went to the garden centre together and I bought this one. I'm not sure now, but I've had it for so long and it is still, like, you can see all of the capsicums. Still, I've got so many capsicums off of this plant, and they're little ones, obviously. Like this one here is actually that's fully grown now. So they're a snack size, but they are delicious. They're a really mild flavour. And I pop them sort of in scrambled eggs, in omelettes, in quiches, or like my frittata things that I make for breakfast and lunches during the week. It's just the little bush that just keeps on giving. I have harvested some seeds from inside the capsicums in the hope that I can get another pot going in the next couple of weeks. So that's a project that we'll do together. Fingers crossed it works, because this has just been incredible. I really have struggled to grow capsicums before. I don't know, maybe they just didn't like the environment or what, I'm not sure. Goodness, that wind is really picking up. But this little bush here has just been so happy. And like, it survived, this whole bush survived all those weeks that I was overseas. Cannot believe it. Just, yeah. And just delicious, such delicious produce. Gosh, there's more over the back there. Anywho, but yeah, that is looking incredible. And then, goodness, that's a mess there. That will all be clean the next time you see it. The roses, these roses here are struggling a little tiny bit. They were over here, you can clearly see from the concrete. I just think the night jasmine was blocking a fair bit of the sunlight, so I think maybe they weren't getting enough sun. So I have actually moved them to this position here where they get a lot more sun, and I definitely need to fertilize them. They've been sort of given a hard cutback, and I'm very, very hopeful that they will just thrive in this position and that they will be very, very happy here. And the lavender that was here, you'll know from a recent video, it struggled while I was overseas. So they've actually, the two lavender plants that were here, I have actually moved them around the side to the potting shed. And I'm just sort of I've just put them there for the moment. And I'm just going to see if I can nurse them back to health, fingers crossed. But this is all looking really good. These vines are looking incredible on the house there. I don't know if you can hear that, but that is rain. So it has just started raining. So it was sunny not an hour ago, and then the clouds have just blown over and it started to rain. So I just wanted to show you really quickly, this here, this with the pink flowers, that is a pantis. So as I've been walking you around, that one that I was talking about earlier, the tri sort of coloured pantis, that is the size. So they're, it gets into quite a good sized shrub, but they are incredibly hardy, and they actually take a really good prune, sort of once the flowers die off, basically cut it all the way back, not to ground level, but I mean, you'd leave like this much on, and this is how they bush back. They're an incredible one. And they're just a really good space filler. They're very durable, they're adaptable. So this one here doesn't get as much sun. It's quite shaded in this area, and it does really well. I've got other ones in positions to get full sun. It does really well there. So yeah, definitely a very adaptable plant to have. So I've got that pink one there, and then you would have seen all the new tri-coloured ones that I've planted. And then this one here is the sort of purple colour. So this plant is just purple, just like the other one that I showed you just then is just pink. They're not like a multicoloured one, but it is just coming back. You can see all of the buds coming through now. It had, you know, a really, really hard prune, and so it's just kind of bouncing back from that. And this one gets pretty much no sun. It kind of just gets light because this plant here kind of blocks a lot of its sun. But everything is just looking so good. I'm very, very conscious that the wind has just picked up markedly and the rain is starting to get heavier. So I might actually end this week's video here. Hopefully you've kind of just enjoyed the bit of the catch up in the garden, sort of seeing what was new, the new sort of flowers that I've been putting in, you know, what I've been trimming back, and hopefully you're really excited about the upcoming growing season. And, you know, I'm so excited. I love when you get all the new, you know, fruits and vegetables in, and being able to harvest and just get, you know, obviously my kitchen garden is not big enough to be self-sustainable, but it is such a pleasure to be able to just go out and harvest spring onions or leeks or cucumbers or beetroots and things like that from your own garden. It's just, yeah, it's such a lovely feeling. So I'm very, very excited for that again. And I really hope you're going to join me for that. As I said, I am considering doing 2 videos a week, particularly you know, through the growing season. And I want to share the content with you. I love it when I see other people's videos and I get really, you know, ideas of what I can do in my own garden and, you know, what projects they're doing and things like that. And funnily enough, even though I'm in the southern hemisphere, my growing season almost matches the northern hemisphere. So for example, if you're in the UK, you'll be going into, so in March, you'll be going into spring, which is your growing season. I'll be going into autumn, but my autumn temperatures are pretty much the same as your spring temperatures. So we actually, for a lot of the year, we actually have the northern hemisphere, and where I currently am located in like my sort of subtropical zone, we actually have very similar weather, even though the seasons are reversed, which is, I find that really interesting. So at the moment, it's not a growing season for me. And I know in the northern hemisphere and a lot of areas, particularly far north, it's not your growing season either, because it's like winter and really cold. You're getting snow and frosts and things like that. Anyway, I've gone on a bit of a, sort of gone off track there on a bit of a tangent. I just find that really interesting. I watch US YouTubers and I watch UK YouTubers as well, and they have, you know, gardening and things, and it's just interesting to me that, like, when their growing season starts, so does mine. And, like, you know, when they're planting their seeds, that's also when I'm planting my seeds. So in summer for us, like where I am in my subtropical zone, it's too hot to really plant much in the summer. It's, yeah, because it's so hot. But autumn, winter and spring are incredible growing seasons for us. So yes, I think we've got a lot in common. So if you're watching from the northern hemisphere and, you know, you're trying to wrap your brain around me in the southern hemisphere, yeah, it's quite interesting to me that we have so much in common. Anyway, I won't continue to ramble. Have an amazing week. I will see you next week for another video. I will probably start, if I'm going to do 2 videos a week, I'll probably start that in March. So it might be when this video goes live, it might still be like a week or 2 before 2 videos kind of start. But I will see you next week for another new video. As I said, have an amazing rest of your week. Bye.